All right, YouTube. Got the dash in. Of course, it still needs to be covered and all of that, but I just wanted to show you guys how I did. As I showed you before, this bracket that you can see here was the actual bracket that came with this dash. I just cut the pipe off of it. So it has a bolt up here, has a bolt right here that holds this bracket to the dash, the plastic of the dash. So move these wires out of the way. I made me a couple brackets here. Had some stuff laying around the shop. This just kind of bent over. It was a piece, it was something off of something else. I cut it up, welded to this side over here. And I made me a little L bracket here. Excuse my welds, they look like shit, but I couldn't really get in there with the big ass wand I got. I made me another bracket there to hold that so it's secure. Then I already showed you guys my center section. I already had it welded in, so everything is bolted up there. If you look across, let me show you. If you look across the top of the window here, you see the window is trimmed in a black. I guess that's from the factory, like a black outline. And the dash follows that line all the way across. I tried to keep it that way. That was a telltale sign that I was level all the way down. You know, and I try to keep it following that line the best as possible. You know, it's a little bit of a difference, but not too much noticeable. I started working on the glove compartment. It's a pain in the butt. So on this side, I showed you before, this was the original truck, piece of the truck frame. It bolted in right here. And this is the other section of the actual Cadillac structure that I cut off of the frame, and I welded it in there. Like I said, it has one bolt up here that holds it, one bolt down here, and I welded this structure to the actual old structure of the truck frame that I had cut down and made it in there. So this side is all in there good. I started working on the glove box. So this is the shell of the glove box. It bolts in. Then the glove box door actually has some fingers on it that hook on here, and it opens and closes on this. This is like the hinge. It's just plastic, but that's what allows the glove box to open and close. So I bolted it in first on each side. I cut it, I bolted it in on each side. Then I drilled my holes and pop riveted the metal in there. That way I could keep it at the right distance apart and try to keep everything square and level as much as possible. I actually ran out of rivets. I've been using these rivets here. Now I got these from a place called Tractor Supply here in Ohio. It's like $7. There's 50 of them in there. I went through them pretty quick. So everything with this coronavirus going on, man, everything here in Ohio closes at 6 o'clock. So it's about 7:30, 8 o'clock now. So I missed my time window to get up there and get some more rivets. So I just wanted to show you guys that it is in there. Another thing that I've been working on, I've been doing some research. A friend of mine has all data, so he's able to pull up the wiring schematics for just about anything. This is the old Chevy truck. Temperature control, HVAC control. So it has two plugs on it. One plug has some big thick wires, the other plug just has some small wires. Well, the Cadillac heater control that goes with this dash is digital, and it only has 7 wires. And they're all small wires, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. I've been watching some other videos. If you guys, there's a guy on YouTube called Nova 2 Nut, Nova, the number 2 Nut, Nutt. He's out of Dayton, Ohio, man, and he built a real nasty 80s model 2-door Malibu, and he put a Pontiac G6 interior in it, the dash, the seats, everything. And he was able to make everything work. He made the heater controls work. He used the actual steering column, fabbed up a new shaft for the steering column and mounts, and made the steering column work with the, you know, the turn signals, everything. I mean, the guy really is a genius, man. If you guys check his channel out, and you know, you can see a lot of the stuff that he did. But that's where I'm at right now, YouTube. Like I said, I ran out of rivets, so I'm kind of at a standstill on doing the rest of the glove compartment. I think what I'm gonna do is start mocking up the console. I already had the console in and out a few times, but I know that in the front up here, it bolts to the actual dash with 4 bolts. And I got my level right because I had to cut a lot. You know, I remember I showed you guys I had to cut the bottom of the console. So now what I need to do is, this is metal here. So I need to make me some kind of bracket to weld to this and bolt to my floor, or weld it to the floor and maybe drill a hole the way I can still remove the console, drill a hole, and just run a little small bolt through it. That way it holds the rear of the console secure. My bolts, or the rear of the console, sits right past it, right down to this little dip here. So this is all flat, then it dips down. So I'll have enough room to weld me a bracket here and catch the bottom of that console on each side. Be able to get, you know, my fingers up under the console to put the bolt through it, and, you know, or run it through this way and put the nut on it. Like I said, it has all of the trim pieces down the side. I'll have to cut all of them as well to mimic the shape of the floorboard that's in this truck, because it's a lot different than what was in the Cadillac. But yeah, that's where I'm at, YouTube. I'll show you guys. I mean, it doesn't look bad with the factory gauge cluster in there. The gauge cluster, it's not all the way in there, so I can move it side to side and get it leveled out. But I also been looking at new face plates. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video, but there's a lot of places online that sell like revamp kits for these factory gauges, and it just comes with a new bezel. You can get them white, you can get stainless steel ones. They got different painted numbers and new needles that come. You can get the needles in different colors, like clear or blue, red, whatever you know, scheme you want to do to try to match your interior or the exterior of your vehicle. They have them. So I've been looking into those, thinking about maybe doing the white face plate with like the bluish colored numbers on there, and maybe getting I didn't see no purple. I didn't see any purple needles. They had some clear ones and some blue ones. The blue ones looked pretty cool when they was lit up. The clear ones wasn't too spectacular, but it was just something different. I also been researching how to change the colors of the lights inside. A buddy of mine, he's real into that stuff. He's took a bunch of gauge clusters apart, and he actually runs a LED strip all the way around the inside of the gauge cluster. So he does away with all of his lights that light up the actual cluster, except for like his, you know, up here in this area here on each side is where all your indicators are, your check engine, your, you know, your airbag, your oil light, all of that stuff. You can't see them right now because they're not lit up, but they're right there in that section. So there's actual lights for those, and then there's the lights that light the, you know, illuminate the gauges. So he always changes out his lights in the gauges and stuff every car he gets. But the last car he just did, he actually showed me he put a LED strip all the way around it. And he has the one, this, I guess it's RGB. It changes colors. So he has a little controller, and he can make it change any color he want, or he can just put it on like an auto thing, and it just switches from color to color. And it looks really nice. He did a good job with that. So I've been talking to him a little bit, trying to get some ideas together for the gauge cluster with the lights. I also been researching the push button start. You can see when my steering wheel is just sitting in there, but you can see that my key is close. pretty close to the dash right there. I mean, the steering wheel isn't bolted in, so once I bolt it down and get it where I need it, it's gonna sit about right there. You can see it's pretty close, but I really like the push button start. So I've been looking into that a little bit, trying to research how that stuff works and trying to find if anybody knows anything or has ever seen a video on YouTube. I can't find one. If anybody has ever actually took this whole lock cylinder completely off of the column and just did away with it altogether and switched to a push button start. Because I know they sell some kits for the push button start that is just like a new car, that you have a key fob with it. And without the key fob being near, you know, in the car somewhere, that the push button start won't work. So that's basically your key. You won't need a key, an actual key anymore. You'll have that little key fob, and you know, your push button starter sense it when you get in the vehicle, and it'll just automatically start. So if I get one, that's the kind I'm looking into getting, so that I can just do away with the whole key situation. And I got the bottom piece. I didn't have this in the last time I showed you guys. The bottom cover, it covers the bottom of the dash, hides all the wires and everything. The wires is a mess. I still got to figure out how I'm going to get all of these wires. These are all the factory wires. Got to figure out how I'm going to get them all under the dash. Wire, you know, they're still all connected, but get the, you know, zip tie them up or make me some little connections. This is my little fuse box here in the actual truck. It sit on the side over here in this area on the Chevy truck. So I'm gonna try to fish it in here and maybe weld me some little tabs to this bracket here, because I got a little gap, probably, I don't know, 2-3 inches between the face of this and this bracket back here. And that's about how wide that is. It's just got a lot of wires coming out of the back. So see if I can't put that back in the same location right here and you know, keep it kind of factory, so if a fuse blows, I do have access to it without having to pop this cover off and get up all under there. What else? I've been thinking about how I'm gonna cover this part up as well, because on the truck, on the SRX, it had a rubber boot here. So this rubber boot actually was mounted to the inside right here. Along the inside, it has some little tabs and just snapped on it. But since I cut it and widened it now, you know, it's not the same size anymore. It don't fit. So I was thinking about maybe making something like this out of some kind of material. I actually still have the covers from the original Chevy truck covers that go over the column to cover all of this up. They're plastic, and it'll kind of sit out a little further so to cover up some of this gap. But I still want to make something to, you know, maybe like a material, some kind of material, make like a fake boot or something, sew it in here or glue it in here so it covers all of this up real nice. You won't be able to see any of those wires or anything down there beside the column. So I'm just slowly coming up with ideas and trying to figure stuff out. And you know, it's a process just like anything else. And I hope you guys been watching the videos. Hope you guys are liking the progress as much as I am. It's a lot of work, man, but you know, we're all locked down right now, so don't have nothing but time to piddle with this stuff and try to figure it out. I appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys have any questions. You know, I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Try to interact with you guys as much as possible. If you guys have any tips or anything, let me know. I appreciate all the info. Thanks for watching.